Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode of the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It's your boy, Mr. Owens, and after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes.
What's going on, Eagles family? This is your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Hey, it's been a while since me and Mr. Owens, did a little shoot together, so we back at it. I hope everybody's been well. You had a great 4th of July, but you know what's coming upon us, man. We have a training camp coming up. The season's on its way. All that good stuff. So me and Mr. Owens are gonna chop it up about that. Tell you how we feeling. Maybe you should add somebody, stay where we at. Just kind of chop shop with you guys. Before we get into it, Mr. Owens wants to talk to you real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Look, to our season supporters, thank you for the continued support. To our new supporters, welcome to the TMTP family. Make sure continue doing your job so we can keep building this brand and this community and this family. Continue to like our videos. Make sure to flood those comment sections. Don't forget to share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. We're going to look. Last but not least, don't forget to turn on the notification bells so you don't miss when we drop this pressure on y'all. All right. Hey, let's get into it, Big Hoss. Come on, man.
Let's talk about it. So, first things first. Man, look, Eagles come in as one of the most well-constructed rosters across the league. Hands down, no questions about it. Howie Roseman has done a remarkable job constructing this roster, not even just from the players, but also to the coaching staff. Everything's top tier. So there aren't a lot of holes in this roster. But if we were to acquire anybody, if we weren't to stay still, because look, if the Eagles don't make a move right now, we are Super Bowl bound. We don't necessarily need a player to come in and put us over the hump. We've already reached the pinnacle, and the team is, like I said, well built enough to go reach another Lombardi, strive for another Lombardi. But like I said, if we were to bring some players in, anybody in your mind that you'd like to see on this roster?
Yeah, so we've had extensive talks off camera, and it's a few free agents that we think can be an asset to an already well-constructed roster. As you mentioned, Howie Roseman has been doing an amazing job since he's been here in 2000 and taken over the GM role. We all know that he was an intern at first, and then he took over the GM role, as I mentioned. And ever since Howie Roseman has been in that position, we just have had consistent and sustained success. We've always had rosters where we're competitive. Maybe it might not be a Super Bowl roster in some years as opposed to other years, but we're always competitive. That's one thing that we have to give kudos to Howie Roseman. Now, as we talk about this roster that is the defending Super Bowl champions, there is some free agents. The vibes. All right. But there is some free agents who me and you have discussed at length that we think, again, can be a contribution, can add contribution to our roster. One person who I have in mind is Keenan Allen.
Oh,
We've been like, come on now. We've been liking Keenan Allen since he was with the San Diego Chargers. Obviously, his most recent team was the Chicago Bears. And I'm forgetting, did Keenan Allen go to San Diego State? He went to San.
I'm not sure where Keenan Allen.
I want to say it's San Diego State.
Give me one moment.
You know, we like to know our history and get a knowledge to the people.
You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Wait a minute. Keenan Allen went to Cal. He went to Cal. Cal University.
He did go to Cal. He was Cal Bears.
A Cal guy. Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the team with Aaron Rodgers. If I'm not mistaken,
he was there from 2000. Nah, that couldn't have been Aaron Rodgers. 2010 to 2012.
Okay, I'm all messed up.
Third round pick. That's crazy.
Third round pick turning into what he has turned into. And why I want to talk about Keenan Allen a little bit. Us, you already know, but our supporters don't know. Keenan Allen is a vet. Obviously, we know we have AJ Brown, swole Batman, Devontae Smith, skinny Batman. Those are locks. Those are number one, number two receiver. Even though we know Devontae Smith is a wide receiver one, just in this circumstance, he is a wide receiver two.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden.
We have been on our platform at length talking about Jahan Dotson and how we feel that he can bring some value to the offense. Obviously, he was a first-round pick with the Washington Commanders a few years ago. And then he made some plays here this past season. The one touchdown that sticks out in my mind, it was against the Packers. And then that big play that he made in Super Bowl 59 against the Chiefs to set us up for our first touchdown. We like Jahan Dotson, but also he hasn't proven anything yet. We know we only have had him for one season, and he wasn't getting his fair share of targets. Obviously, you know, when you have a team as we do with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, QB1 as options, you're going to get kind of buried down on the depth chart. But as we all saw, as the season progressed, QB1 started to trust Jahan Dotson a little bit more and started to get him some more targets. But he still has something to prove, and we're very high on him. Past that, we don't know who our receiver 4 and 5 are going to be, because that's we of course have Danny Gray, who's been making waves at during the offseason. Yeah, everybody's saying that he's catching everything that's thrown his way. He looks like he can be a speed demon for us on the football field, something that we haven't had in quite a while. Also, you got Terrence Marshall that came over from the Carolina Panthers. You got Johnny Wilson, who we drafted last season, also Anaya Smith. I don't know how much trust or stock I can put into a Johnny Wilson or an Anaya Smith. Also, I don't know how much stock we could put into a Terrence Marshall. So to get someone with Keenan Allen's caliber, where he's fluent in his route running, he's a vet. You see what I'm saying? He's not a cancer. He's not an issue. That's somebody who he can push, not only AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, because he's been around the league for so long. You just did the research for us, and we can see how long he's been playing this game at a high level. Obviously, we know he was with the Bears. He didn't really have the best season or the season that he would prefer, but to put him into our offense, as we mentioned off camera, because we have seen AJ Brown, Devontae Smith be injured. Think back to the first month of last season. We played without both of them. We went into the Tampa game with Paris Campbell, Johnny Wilson, and Anaya Smith at wide receiver. That's not a wide receiver group that you're going to be, oh yeah, man, we're gonna put in some work on a pass game. No. So to add a Keenan Allen when and if there are injuries, at least we have someone who can step up, and at least we have someone that we know can win on their routes and be able to make plays to help this offense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, I'm a huge fan of Keenan Allen, always have been. He's going to be 33 years old going into the season, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't care for what he gives. Yeah, I'm just being honest. This is one of those guys where where I look at it as he's the exception. Yeah, I mean, we're not looking for a burner, you know what I'm saying? We're looking just for a surefire number 3. And look, I have all the faith in Jahan Dotson. If we don't bring in another receiver, I think that Jahan Dotson will do great this year. I genuinely do. But as you mentioned, just to push the room, to share some of that wisdom, Keenan Allen, excuse me, is a route running machine. He also is versatile. You can play him inside, you can play him outside. He has the stature and frame to play outside. If he goes outside, he's going to give you that Alshon Jeffrey 50-50. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to give you that. Inside, body him up, route to Chris, short-handed. During his career, like I said, drafted in 2010, he's amassed over 10,000 yards receiving since then. Okay, so you're not getting 10,000 yards receiving just being anybody. That just doesn't happen. He damn near goes over 1,000 yards every year. Like I said, last year with the Bears, young quarterback, terrible O-line. It was just a bad,
incompetent head coach.
Incompetent head coach. There was just a lot that wasn't going right on that team and on that roster. So, but you bring him here where things are already set in stone. Like I said, there aren't a lot of holes. Number 1, number 2, solidified. Even if he doesn't come in and be your number 3, Keenan Allen as your number 4 off the bench, giving you work. Come on, brother. Come on. He had over what? He had 70 catches last year, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns at 32 years old. Like you said, with an incompetent head coach, a trash offense, he's still giving you 7 tutties. Like, come
and
on,
I believe he was the third option on the Bears because he was Rama Dunzi and who's the other boy
DJ Moore?
DJ Moore, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying, so come on, bro. Like, he's still giving you that type of work. I think this would be a great acquisition, if not just for depth, even though honestly, he would push that number 3 role. I'm gonna be honest with you, but
for sure,
I would for sure like to see it, like you said, just because there's a lot of questions after 1 and 2. There really are. And even if you do give him a 1-year deal, we're still in the same position we were in if we didn't have him, because more than likely Jahan Dotson more than likely won't be back next year. He's probably going to ask for a bag somewhere else if he does anything. So we're still looking for a receiver next year. But great depth, and we know you talking about making Super Bowl runs, bro. It's all about depth. Depth, help, you know what I'm saying? Luck of the draw, those kind of things. But depth, as we can see, that's a long season. People get hurt. Like I said, AJ Brown, Smitty, they got hurt last year. No slight to Parrish Campbell, Nia Smith, and Johnny Wilson, but my Lord, come on now.
they in a group to ride home about, bro.
That's all I'm saying. I hope that they put in that work this all season. We see a better version of them, but look, upgrade the room if you can.
Mm-hmm. And to add on to your point about depth, because you made a valid point, our last 2 Super Bowl winning teams, what did they have in common? Depth. 2017 team had depth when a plethora of people, Jason Peters, Darren Sproles, Carson Wentz all went down. We had people who filled up and stepped into their role. But then even this past season, as you mentioned, people have gone down, even on the offensive line, when Mekhi Becton was going out and things like that. It's just, you have to have that depth.
Hey, as much as it is a game of skill and chance, it's a game of attrition.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people go down left and right, and you want to have competent players fill those roles so you don't have gaping weaknesses, whether it be in your offense or your defense or even special teams for that matter. Mm-hmm. Even special teams for a little while, was a bit lackluster. I'll put it like that. It was a bit lackluster last year, and we didn't have really anybody behind Jake Elliott or anybody we can kind of grab off the street and be like, hey, man, you kind of get your head together right quick while we kind of, so we kind of had to ride it out. Now, luckily, he made it count when it mattered most. You feel me? So Jake did what Jake does. But all the same, like I said, depth is big. So I would like to see that move. I really
would. And then even with him being 32, 33 real quick, because he doesn't miss a lot of games, bro. Best ability is availability. Keenan Allen has, even when he was with the Chargers, you rarely saw him on an injury report. You see what I'm saying? So he's durable, he's dependent, and that's someone who I feel like can really bolster this offense, as you mentioned.
Like you in my notes, I said sure-handed and reliable. Look,
You know who he
from a
reminds
receiver,
me of with the short-handed? It's somebody who we had here in Philly. You already know, bro.
Mr. Avant.
Avant. Come on, bro. You
I'm
already
already
know
in.
me. Come on,
I'm
bro.
already hooked. You
For
didn't have
like,
to tell
yo,
me.
third down, you need the
Yeah, for
money
sure.
down. You can look that way, and he's going to come down with that
Jason
catch.
Avant was that guy for
Come
sure,
on
for
now.
sure. Mr. Third Down himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, some other guys.
Other ones. Oh, so I know since we were already on receiver, another guy. Obviously, we want Keenan Allen. In terms of receiver. But someone who else will be intriguing. He's been in the league for a few years. Went to Pittsburgh for college, and then was with the Bengals. But Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is someone who he can come in and push the room. That's something that we talked about off camera, and you really stressed and emphasized us. Beyond the first two receivers that we already know, we need someone to come in and push Jahan Dotson. We don't want Jahan Dotson just coming in being like, oh, well, I'm wide receiver 3. It ain't no competition. You see what I'm saying? So I don't really have to go my hardest to win this position. Especially that's another vet with Tyler Boyd. He's used to being on a team that has to spread the football around. The quarterback has different targets. Obviously, with the Bengals, he was behind Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You see what I'm saying? And then he kind of got phased out because they had to do Illavolve or whatever his name is, number 80.
Yeah, like young Hawaiian guy or something
Yeah,
like
from
that.
like Princeton or something like
Princeton, I
that.
believe. Yes.
He came and filled that role, but that is another guy who is a proven veteran who knows how to route people up, who knows how to run hitch routes, who could come in. The even AJs, the Smitties, everybody, the younger receivers can lean on him for his wisdom. And that's someone who I feel can elevate the offense as well. He won't be expensive. He'll come in on a cheap, maybe a 1-year deal. I don't see how we giving him anything past that. You see what I'm saying? At this point, the way how Howie has constructed this roster and the culture that we have built here in Philadelphia, people know when you come here for a 1-year deal or whatever. You've said this a multitude of times in previous videos, because we already have this culture in line. So when people come over to Philadelphia, you can either do well in this 1 year and get paid from us. You can do well in this 1 year, get paid from somebody else. But you know, at the end of the day, when you sign up here in Philadelphia, you know what we compete here for, and that's Super Bowls. Nothing more, nothing less. So a T-Boy, I mean, not a T-Boy, I'm sorry, a Tyler Boyd, a Keenan Allen, guys who have been great at what they have done in the NFL, but haven't yet reached that pinnacle. They'll be more receptive to coming to a team like Philadelphia on a 1-year cheap deal to help win a Super Bowl, as opposed to, okay, say the Seahawks, random team. Those like the Seahawks are throwing out a 1-year deal. Why would somebody sign with the Seahawks? They're not in a Super Bowl conversation right now. So in terms of Keenan Allen and Tyler Boyd, seeing this situation, seeing that the wide receiver 3 role is not that strong, and then you can come in and probably win the wide receiver 4 role, I don't see why we won't keep an eye on them or just take a flyer on them. More so Keenan Allen and Tyler Boyd, though.
Yeah, no, and truthfully, I wouldn't be mad at a Tyler Boyd situation. That's another guy I've always really liked. What I like about him, already brings going to be a veteran, right? Going to be a veteran guy within a locker room, going to bring that veteran presence on the field, that leadership role, a lot of wisdom to share. And it's already been in that third wide receiver role, so, or fourth wide receiver role, whatever it may be. So he's not coming in with a cancerous attitude. He already knows what it's going to be and easily assimilate to that. I wouldn't be mad at that. Older guy, like I said, that's going to be a 1-year cheap deal. We're not throwing a lot of money there. Why not take a flyer on them? Anything like you said, and I've said, to push that wide receiver 3. I don't want Jahan Dotson to feel too comfortable or complacent, even if it really is his job to lose, or I mean, I'm sure it will be coming off of last season, but just push him, give him that extra edge. When a guy like Tyler Boyd would probably better fit Jahan Dotson, because he's always been that kind of possession receiver. Tyler Boyd's never been overly fast or overly quick. I know how to run routes. I'm short-handed. That's kind of Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson isn't the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy. But where you can win this by being short-handed and running crisp routes. Those two guys do both of those, and Keenan Allen and Tyler Boyd. So the mentorship that they would give, not only, and I'm speaking of Jahan Dotson, hey, Johnny Wilson, Anais Smith, Danny Gray, whoever else is in that wide receiver room, these are two guys who will be great locker room guys and great additions on the field. I can see them contributing in whatever role we would have them in. Like I said, more so Keenan Allen than Tyler Boyd. But if we were to pick up a Tyler Boyd, I wouldn't be put off by that move at all. I'm 1,000%. I would be 1,000% down for that. I said just to push. You know what I'm saying? And you know they're going to come up big. Tyler Boyd's consistently made plays from his Cincinnati days on through. You know what I'm saying? Like, big guy. So, yeah, I like that one. Those are two good receivers to add to that room. Any other an Amari Cooper? I wouldn't be opposed to an Amari Cooper. I know he played for the Star, but we ain't gonna hold that against him. You live and you learn. You know what I'm saying? We don't judge. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But no, he would come in, another great locker room guy, a lot of knowledge to share, has been consistent throughout his career, even when he's been on some trash teams. Health, I think, would be a question mark with all these guys, but I think coming into the Philadelphia situation, I think health really wouldn't be a problem. He could easily assimilate, be that number 3, play from the slot. We talk about versatility. That's another guy who can play inside and out. Short-handed, I wouldn't be opposed to number 3, Amari Cooper as well. We're just talking about potential free agent acquisitions in the wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that's the thing. Healthy competition is great competition.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of people always be like, well, why do you want people to come in? That's sports. Compete. Gotta compete. You want to put the best players and the people that's on the roster in the on the field. You want to put the best players on the field. And one thing with Amari Cooper, I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just with him, it's injury concerns. But you brought up a very, very great point off camera. We have one of the best training staffs. We flipped because a few years ago, we had a lot of injuries. So now we're at the top of the list for minimal injuries. You see what I'm saying? So maybe getting Amari Cooper in here, we don't know. Sometimes a change of scenery, sometimes a change of training staff helps and works wonders, because that was the same issue we had when we signed Saquon. Everybody, he's injury prone. He tore his ACL in 2020. He can't stay healthy. He comes over here. He plays every single game.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So to have that in your back pocket as like a joker, if you must say, to use, that's something that you can sell to free agents that come over on a 1-year deal and things like that. We do have great training staff that can keep you upright, that can keep you healthy. You see what I'm saying? To contribute and play at a high level on a football field.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, players want to play.
Exactly.
Hey, if I'm not playing, that means I'm not getting paid. Okay, players want to play. So if we can come in, keep you healthy, and help you to earn that next contract, as you had mentioned earlier, whether that's with Philadelphia or that's with one of the other 31 football teams across the league, you'll get that bag. You just got to come here, buy in, like I said, and be available. Another guy who we had mentioned, a little bit of injury concerns, but well-known name. Okay, this name rings bells throughout Philly. If you get me, you feel me? Ring-a-ling-a-ling. My man, Asante Samuel Jr. It's another guy, a little bit of an injury concern, but as me and Mr. Owens talked about off camera, everybody was injured on the Chargers. Everybody, coaching staff, head coach on down, everybody was just effed up over there. So that doesn't really carry a lot of weight for me, and that's not really like a red flag. I think he would easily come in and assimilate to what we have going on in here. Locker room guys said, Pops is going to be all in. You're going to get the best version of Asante Samuel Jr. in Philadelphia if we were to bring him in. We have some position battles to talk about later, but you got Keelan Ringo or Dory Jackson. He could possibly push for that CB2 role. If not, that CB3, Asante Samuels is a CB3. It's not bad. He just has to stay healthy. Zone guy, but aggressive. I think the Vic Fangio system would really fit this kid well. I think he would honestly thrive here. I think he has the right mentality for it, the right athletic traits. He just needs, I think this is one of those situations you mentioned, new change of scenery. Let's kind of get out of LA. LA ain't, I know they got hardball and everything going on over there, but LA ain't really hitting right now.
This ain't that.
Nah, bro, them pieces ain't hitting like that. So come over here, it's championship pedigree. He will be fighting for so much more because as we bring in like an X-Man Jr., man, this is family. This is home. Ain't like you're going somewhere foreign. I'm sure he's been with inside the locker room as a kid and met the coaching staff and everything. So this is family. So it's not as it wouldn't feel like pressure to perform it. And you could just come in and fit in and do your thing, especially with the leadership as far as the players, coaching staff, man. This is the other kid who's versatile, put him inside out. I think this would be a great addition. If we talk about depth as well, depth, push that room. Competition, it breeds greatness. And this roster and this team has proven that. The more people we can get in the building to compete, the better. He's only 25 years old, so he's still a baby. Even if he does end up doing well this year, I don't think he's going to command a big bag. You know what I'm saying? So even if you wanted to keep him, you could. If not, you can move on, but bring him in on a 1-year deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like how you mentioned the scheme fit. That is what's so intriguing to me about Asante Samuel Jr. He's light on his feet. He gets out his breaks quickly. He's someone who competes at a very high level when he's on the football field. It's no question about him when he's playing, when he's available. A lot of his questions stem from injury. But again, the familiarity with Asante Samuel Sr., my guy, son. You know what's going on, you know. But as you see, even though Asante Samuel wasn't drafted here by Philadelphia, when he hangs up his cleats, who does he still talk about? Who does he still associate with? And that is the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's someone where if Asante Samuel Jr. is interested in Philadelphia, he can ask his dad, as you mentioned, about Philadelphia. What did he like about Philadelphia? What didn't he like about Philadelphia? And then it doesn't hurt that you look across the yonder and you see the roster over there. You like, look, man, y'all don't need too much convincing with a roster that we got on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, and special teams. Then you add into the equation the head coach, the coaching staff, the front office. All of that comes into consideration when you're picking a new home or a destination in football. But I really like Asante Samuel because, again, you mentioned he's not a cancerous player. He's not going to come in. He's not going to disrupt the locker room. He's not going to disrupt the culture. He's a team first guy. And it's crazy because we've been hearing about Asante Samuel. Obviously, we know Asante Samuel Sr., but we've been hearing about Asante Samuel Jr. since his days at St. Thomas Aquinas in high school, and then going to the, I can't do that. But yeah, because Chiefs, you get up at it. But for the nose, y'all know what's going on, go nose. You feel me? But we've been hearing a lot about him, and that's someone who, honestly, before we were doing content, because when me and you were going through the draft process and things like that, that's someone we were looking at to come to Philadelphia out of Florida State. So to have this opportunity to get him again, you mentioned he's 25 years old. He's young. He has something to prove because a lot of people are counting him out right now.
They are.
You feel me? So with that, with something on your back, with a target on your back, and your monkey on your back, you want to show and prove that you belong with the elite, you belong with the big dogs. At one point when Asante Samuel Jr. was playing, he was easily a top 10 corner. Easily a top 10 corner. You feel me? But for him to come in here and be 25, and I will feel a lot more comfortable, even though we don't have any issues with Akili Ringo. It's just, again, we go back to the word depth. You'd rather be safe than sorry, because say Akili Ringo goes down, who do we have behind him? An Adoree Jackson? Do you feel comfortable with Adoree, even though he has been a veteran? I mean, he's a veteran and has played a lot of cornerback with being with the Titans and the New York Giants. Would you trust him for a full season? We saw even back last year in the spot play when big play Slay kept going out, how Isaiah Rodgers had to keep coming in. You see what I'm saying? And filling in for Slay when he was injured. But would you trust the Eli Ricks? That's the questions we really have to ask ourselves. You feel me? So like now, if you have an Asante Samuel Jr. with the Keely Ringo, with an Adoree Jackson, with the Eli Ricks, I will feel more comfortable in that position than not having an Asante Samuel Jr. Because as we see, this game is a physical and violent game, and injuries are a part of the game. You have to be well strapped and well equipped to go through a season as we did and win a Super Bowl, and that's our goal, to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
Nah, for sure. Absolutely. That's end of the day. It's about the journey. We're chasing rings. We chasing championships. It's
Chasing
not
dynasties too.
No, hey, we're building a dynasty
Yes.
right now. We're in the midst of a dynasty right now. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of why we're in a situation where we don't have a lot of holes. That's what allows us to say that the roster is that well constructed to where we'll be in the hunt for the next 3 to 5 years easily. That's how he keeps adding people. You know what I mean? We'll have our losses, but best believe we're gonna have them additions too, and some key ones. So we'll be in that hunt. We'll continue to be in that hunt. So with OTA, speaking of the hunt and OTAs coming up and everything, plus we got some position battles going on. Any group in particular that kind of has your eye right now?
Right now, honestly, again, this is a position that we haven't been in quite a while. We have more answers than questions. So it's kind of hard to go through the roster and nitpick. And if we have to nitpick, because we do, then we can find something. But again, this roster is well constructed from top to bottom. Obviously, we know that we have the offensive line battle with the right guard spot. But to me, that spot is really Tyler Steen's to lose. I don't see Kenyon Green. I do like Kendall Lamb. I do like what's his name? Jack Driscoll? Yeah. So I do like our depth pieces, but as far as a starter, Tyler Steen, that is your spot to lose. This is your third season, going into your third season. You have been around Stoutland University for a while now. You have seen what's it called, Cam Jurgens in that role. You have seen Mekhi Becton in that role. Then on top of that, not only have you seen them, you have been in that role because of injuries or plays where you have to come in and spell somebody in spot play. So I have full faith in Tyler Steen to man that role. Obviously, we know what Mekhi Becton did last year was phenomenal. And we're not asking Tyler Steen to be Mekhi Becton because obviously we know they're two separate individuals. We're just asking Tyler Steen to be Tyler Steen. Obviously, you went to Bama, so you know how Bama is with their culture. You come here to Philadelphia, you're learning your tutelage underneath Jeff Stoutland, who is the best position coach in the NFL by far. I feel like it's Tyler Steen's time to take over these reins, bro. Like you've been sitting there, you've had enough time to sit back and learn the different tips and techniques and everything like that. Take advantage of this, man. Like, this is your time. You're young, up and coming. Solidify that role, bro. Because, like, honestly, on the O-line, that's the only legitimate question mark that we have. Left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle are all short up. It's legitimately right tackle. But I have full faith in Tyler Steen. But you brought up a good point off camera, because I had mentioned Brandon Sheriff as a potential free agent. But you mentioned that you will rather have him as a depth piece rather than having him compete as a starter. But that's somebody who I would keep an eye on as well, because, again, I have full faith in Tyler Steen, but you can never have too many depth pieces and players on a roster.
Yeah, no. Full agreement with you. It's Tyler Steen's job to lose. You've been here 2 years now with Jeff Stoutland. You're a Super Bowl champion. You've contributed both years you've been here in spot play, and honestly performed well in every situation you've been in. It is without a doubt his job to lose. If you mentioned Brandon Sheriff, if we were to bring Brandon Sheriff in, I only believe we bring him in if Tyler Steen isn't doing well. And then what's my man? Kendall Green. Am I saying is that
Kenyon Green from the Texans.
Kenyon Green from the Texans. If he start panicking like, okay, this kid is not what we thought. That's the only way I really see us bringing in a sheriff, really. Just because Steen and Green are both still young. They're both still under 25.
They are.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have Lamb who could do a little bit of that's Mr. You do it all, you jack of all trades there. But there's options there before we even get, as far as I'm concerned, to a sheriff. But I need Steen to come in. Hey, put your hands all over this job. This is mine. Stay healthy, because if you want to be honest, that's how you lost it last year. As quiet as it's kept, came up, I believe it was an ankle injury.
Yes.
Ankle injury last year. Insert Mekhi Becton. Eagles didn't look back.
Rest was history.
Yeah, literally, it was history, right? So keep yourself healthy. Make sure you're in shape. You're doing the right things, but he has to be the lead horse in the right guard race without a question.
Has to be.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't really see anybody else pushing him, to be honest.
No, and like I said, and when he did actually play, it wasn't like he was out of sorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, get this guy out of here. No, you were handling business. The line was cohesive. You know what I mean? Jalen was delivering. We were running the ball, doing whatever we need to do. You know, just fine tune your craft and stay healthy. And I think it'll be him. I think we will see Tyler Steen in right guard.
Yeah, and even think as recent as the NFC Championship game, because when it was a series and a drive where Mekhi Becton got banged up and Tyler Steen had to come in. Tyler Steen legitimately, you couldn't tell that that Mekhi Becton was out. It looked fluid. It looked natural. It looked authentic. When Tyler Steen was in there, you couldn't tell a major difference. Tyler Steen has a lot of talent. He's been learning under Jeff Stoutland for so long. We know that Tyler Steen is going to take this next step and take over that right guard spot, bro.
Nah, for sure. Like I said, it's him. As long as he's healthy, it'll be him. I guarantee you it'll be him. Now, what we do with the Green guy will be interesting because he's still young. I believe he's looking for a contract as well. How we move him around and use him this year will be interesting, and his future just beyond this year, whether that's with the Eagles or not. I mean, he needs to play if he wants that bag, right? If you're trying to earn a contract with somebody else, man, you need to be fighting for that position. So I expect him, or if I was him, I would be on Tyler Steen's ass, man, like a baby diaper, bro, like all on it, pushing this guy.
Straight huggies.
Straight huggies. Straight huggies. You know what I'm saying? Like pushing them because you want your name out there. Because if it doesn't happen this year for Green, he might have to wait a couple years. You might move from a first round pick to where, hey, you're highly coveted, you getting that bag, he's him, to now you're a depth piece and you're only 25 years old. You still got a lot in the tank. So that role or that job, right guard, be interesting to see how it plays out. But Steen, he's in the driver's seat.
He's the guy. He's the guy. And it's interesting with Kenyon Green too, because he came in the same draft with Jordan Davis. That's actually so when we traded with Houston,
bro, go ahead. Yep.
Jordan Davis, and then Houston turns around and picks Kenyon Green. So he's fairly young. That's somebody who maybe he could show like to be a depth piece if Tyler Steen does in fact win the job. Or we might just let him walk after this season.
That's potential. That's an option. Only reason why I say we won't let him walk because he's still young. There has to be some. They ain't choose you first round for no reason. It's just trade for him. And trade for you. I believe we gave him some compensation for this guy. So they didn't do all that for no reason. Whether he sucks or not, he'll be on the roster. It's just, will he play? Look, because we paid a guy $50 million. He might have got 15 snaps all year, 50 snaps all year for real. And then we got him up out of here. So that doesn't mean anything.
I can just tell from the beginning that the scheme wasn't going to fit.
Man, hey, sucker ass, man. We don't get on with that, bro. Well, they hear that.
Exactly.
No. So another position group you brought up off camera, QB 3, 4. We have an interesting situation where we have a quality QB room right now. Obviously, you got QB 1, Jalen Hurts, Timothy, right?
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, you Super Bowl MVP. You feel me? You got Tanner McKee, the big guy, right? Kyle McCord comes in as a rookie, a lot of talent there. You have DTR, was highly coveted coming out of UCLA. He was a dog at UCLA, been around for a little bit, considered a vet now. Smaller guy, mobile, athletic, still pass the ball. Different body types, similar abilities, but all the same, different abilities. What do we do, man? QB1 set, QB2 set, QB3, 4. We at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we can really only keep 3. So somebody's odd man out. Who we thinking? Who is it?
Musical chair style.
You know, so camp will be big. And what's crazy for QB 3, 4, it was crazy as you move into camp. Generally speaking, QB 3, 4 don't get a lot of reps. So it's going to be hard for you really to show your worth and why you should be on that. I guess that wouldn't be the 53-man roster, but you'll be that emergency quarterback that they keep now.
Mm-hmm. So you have your 3 quarterbacks, and then obviously you have your practice squad if we choose to.
Right. But I know they keep that bullpen quarterback now too.
The 4th, yeah, because that's the position that Ian Book had when he was here.
Okay, so look, spots are limited. Mm-hmm. Put your best foot forward.
And you made a good point, because like you said, in training camp, they're not going to have a lot of time or a lot of repetitions. The thing where they're going to have to show is preseason distribution. That's what we need to watch.
For sure.
Who gets the most reps in the preseason.
For sure. Because like you said, in preseason games, so the other thing with preseason games is funny. Yeah. You might see QB 3, 4 out there, but he's out there throwing the guys he's never threw to in his life. I don't know how this guy runs his routes. The timing is completely off. So when they say make the most of it, you genuinely have to make the most out of every play. If you're low man on the depth chart, and that's almost at any position, but we're talking about the quarterback room right now, so we'll stick to that. But so these guys, limited reps, limited time on the field, limited time with quality teammates or potential teammates. It makes your job hard. I want to see how this turns. It's going to be something crazy to look at.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it does make the job hard. And then they're already behind the 8 ball, because not only are they low on the depth chart, but then the NFL has decided to go from a 4-game preseason to a 3-game preseason. So now you're short 1 game where you can maybe, you're on the fence of making the roster, and I can prove it in the 4th game and come out and ball. Now that game is taken away, because obviously we added 18 games on the NFL schedule now. So you're behind an 8 ball in that terms. But with that battle, I really like it, because it's two different sides of the same coin. You have DTR, who is a vet, as you said. He was highly recruited. I mean, not highly recruited, but highly regarded out of UCLA, even with the Browns, as we mentioned off camera, because making plays the Browns are the Browns. All right. Shout out to y'all loyal fans though, because y'all got some, I don't know how, bro. Because the Browns, bro, ever since Babbitt was kids, ever since Bulls was kids, y'all ain't been winning nothing. But shout out to the dog pound. But what's it called? We already know with the Cleveland organization, their front office is incompetent. All right. They haven't been competent in I don't know how long. They've had 20, 30 different quarterbacks since 1999. It's
like a different quarterback every year.
Every single year, bro. Every single year. And we know that their defense is good in Cleveland. It's their offense that's an issue. And for me saying that, when DTR was getting in the games, preseason and regular season games, he was making plays in Cleveland. And Cleveland's offense ain't usually the best. So to me, he brings a veteran presence. He brings, I've been here before. I'm not going to be scared of a little competition. But then on the other side, you have Kyle McCord, who is a rookie on his rookie deal. We know how Howie Roseman likes people on rookie contracts because you're saving money. He's a local kid, grew up an Eagles fan. He obviously can spin it from the pocket. He's not as mobile as a DTR, but in that pocket, he can throw with the best of them. So I know, as we talked before we got on camera, because Howie Roseman has mentioned a multitude of times a few years ago that he wanted to make this a quarterback factory. We do have our QB1, our franchise leader. We have Tanner McKee and QB2. But then again, with this QB3 role, it really depends on what type of play style you want. Do you want a guy who he can throw from the pocket, but he's not as mobile in case the rush gets there? Or do you want a guy who's 50-50? He can throw from the pocket, but then also he can pick up some tough yards when the play breaks down and pick it up with his feet. So that's going to be an interesting battle to watch during training camp, because one of them, obviously, we may be, well, more so not Kyle McCord, but probably DTR. If he doesn't play up to standard, we can flip him, we can cut him, or probably just try to trade him to a quarterback needy team that loses somebody during training camp.
And that's more than likely what we'll do. And only reason why I say we don't cut him, because we gave up a little bit of trade compensation
to get him.
To get him. Mm-hmm. So if for whatever the reason we feel, hey man, Kyle McCord's beating them out, blase, let's flip him for something. At least try to get back face value, get back what we got. Yeah, I mean, to get him. But like I said, something to keep note of. Preseason games are when they'll be able to, really show what they got. It'll be live action. Some of the scrimmages that we have with other teams during
joint practices.
Camp. Yep, the joint practices and things like that, which I believe our first one is versus the Browns.
I think it's Cleveland. Yeah, like for the past 2 years, it's always Cleveland.
Yeah. So DTR got a chance to get a little get back. You feel me?
Hey, shout out to Cleveland though, because they be wanting to smoke every year. They be wanting to smoke.
They show up. It really be that defense for real. Defense, they be playing for real. For real. So yeah, that's something to look at, man. Another group that I really want to keep our eye on, though, is the safety room. Obviously, we have Reed Blankenship. He'll more than likely earn himself a contract extension. Reed has done more than I think anybody thought he would come in and do. Super Bowl champion, put some respect on it. Okay. But with CJ Gardner-Johnson departing, leaving for the Texans,
correct,
in the trade to acquire Green, we have a vacancy. Now, you have Sidney Brown, who has his name in the mix. You have Andrew Makuba, second-round pick out of Texas this year, who has his name in the mix. And then you have Andre Sam, who folks are quietly talking about making some noise during OTAs. How this group shakes out, if we bring in an addition we didn't mention, maybe a Justin Simmons who claims he wants to play for Philly. He's been outright and spoken saying, hey, I want to be in Philly. I mean, however they make it work, there's a void there. Now, if you bring in a Justin Simmons, these young pups have to sit. Sidney Brown's already been sitting. This will be his third year, I believe.
Sidney Brown's going into his third season.
Right, third year. So he would have already sat for 2 seasons. You have Andrew Makuba, who's a pup. You know what I mean? He's vying for playing. And Andre Sam, who's already been sitting for a year. If you bring him in, then that means these guys have to sit for another year. And the Philadelphia Eagles are right now on their youth movement where we're trying to put that young talent out there. We didn't bring these young pups in here on these rookie deals, and we don't got to pay them. You know what I'm saying? For nothing. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons why you haven't seen a Justin Simmons yet. They want to see how these young pups kind of battle it out. Now, me personally, and this is no slight to other new players, I'm a Makuba fan. I think Makuba should be that other starting spot. I like his game savviness, his intellect. digesting what's being thrown at him in real game time speed, the ball skills, the aggression, the passion, the swag, the tackling. I feel like this kid has it all. If he was 20 pounds bigger, as one of the other guys said, he'd more than likely be a first round pick. It's just he's a little undersized, but hey, it doesn't make a difference. He plays bigger than his size. But if not, look, Sidney Brown, I think, is more than capable. He's shown flashes. Sidney, more so in my eyes, just has to work on tempo. Yeah, I mean, knowing when to throttle, when to upshift or downshift. He hasn't quite got that down where Andrew has a better feel in my eyes, just from film. We haven't seen him in training camp and everything else. Has a better feel of the game. Knows when it goes fast. Knows when we tempo this down, kind of this back right here, chill a little bit. But this battle will be big. In this room right here, I really see iron sharpening iron. Whoever comes out as the victor will come out a much better player than when they went in. Because these three guys, hey man, they're all about it. Andre Sam, head knocker, about that business. They want to play. They want to play. Not scared of the lights. I don't think that the room will be too big. It's just for me, who can digest what's being thrown at him? Because being a safety, Vic Fangio is going to throw a lot at you. Linebackers and safeties, y'all get the grunt of the work as far as putting people in positions, make sure we're lined up, calling things on the back end. Who can grasp it and you know put it in real-time game speed? But my ticket's on Andrew Makuba.
And it's interesting that you said who can grasp it fast enough, because obviously it makes sense. If Sidney Brown has been here going into his third season, you would think, oh, well, Sidney Brown's kind of in the lead, the driver's seat in terms of starting at safety. But we got to remember, this was Vic Fangio's first year last year. So it was a new defense. Sidney Brown also was coming off of injury, so he wasn't getting repetitions on the field. So, to be honest, him and Makuba are basically coming in at the same, like basically neck and neck with that position, because usually you will look and be like, oh, well, Sidney Brown, if he played last season, he got a little slight lead over Makuba. Of course, Makuba being a rookie. But then, as quiet as the cat, people's not talking about this. Makuba was a Vic Fangio selection. So, Vic Fangio likes Makuba. That is a player that he sees. He sees him fitting into his defense. You see what I'm saying? So that puts Sidney Brown behind the 8 ball.
Long way. That goes a long way when you're talking about Vic Fangio, a Vic Fangio guy, a selection.
Right.
We saw that worked out last year with Jalen Hunt. Man, that was my guy. We're all at home like, man, who the hell is this kid? What school did he go? Is that a high school? What is this? Like, where is this? Right? He turns out to be a great player at the end of the year. Started off a little slow, but he got it. So I think you make a great point as far as Makuba being a selection. Vic Fangio's not putting his name on just anybody. You got to be somewhat like that for Vic Fangio to be like, yeah, bring that guy in here, man. I like what I see on tape. So I think that's a great point you bring up.
Yeah, man, because if you look at it, like Sidney Brown, he seems like, I mean, we've been on football teams, so I say, you know, when people are in the doghouse, the reps and stuff that he gets, the minimal reps that he gets, it seems like he's in the doghouse with Vic Fangio, or it seems like Vic Fangio doesn't believe that Sidney Brown is picking up the concepts and the scheme as quickly as he will like, so he's not putting him out on the field. You see what I'm saying? But I'm in agreement with you. I think that Makuba will ultimately take over that starting role next to Reed Blankenship. But again, if we do bring in Justin Simmons, I won't be upset. That's the familiarity again with
absolutely
Vic Fangio, and then also Christian Parker, our corner coach.
For the Broncos.
Yeah, with the Broncos. But again, me and Big Huss here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents, we have the utmost faith because we were just chopping it up about this off camera. We are cool. Like we're saying people that we will like in free agency. But again, if we don't get any of these players in free agency, we believe wholeheartedly in our young defense. Our young defense is already proven that they can rise to the occasion and they can step up to the challenge. We've had legitimate 2 rookies that come in and transformed our defense last season, now Super Bowl champions. We have a lot of first rounders that are from Georgia that's on our defense, that's used to winning, that knows the pedigree to win, that knows the culture of winning. You see what I'm saying? So as long as we got the Nolan Smiths, the Jalen Carters, the Reed Blankenships, the Quinions, the Coops, the Zach Bonds, the N'Kobe Deans, we'll be okay. I'll take our, like, sometimes you got to throw people into the deep end and hope people will speak to the fire. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's better just take your lumps early and often, learn from your mistakes and grow and get better. So I will be perfectly fine with the young defense, but if we do bring in some vets, of course, the Justice Simmons, the Asante Samuels, we'll be perfectly fine with that as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that Howie and the organization is learning, man. Sometimes you got to push these young pups off the deep end, man. Sink or swim. Sink or swim. You know, in most cases, especially here lately, these cats have been swimming and swimming strong. And a lot of that is due to the culture, like as you mentioned, just the players around them, man. You have, our team is, I don't say weirdly constructed, but different than most, where you have, instead of players preying on your downfall, the man next to you genuinely wants to see you succeed.
It's your best.
He's praying for your success, not your downfall, but your success. So even if, hey, we in head-to-head competition, it's me and you, I'm gonna still help you out, and it's vice versa. It goes both ways. So that's why you're able to put a Cooper DeJean out there who started off slow. You took Avonte Maddox's job. Avonte Maddox could have sat in the back and pouted, been a baby. Man, I ain't showing Cooper nothing. They young pup want to learn it, But you've seen it across the league. You've seen vets do that. But instead, Avonte got in his ear, nah, man, you need to do this. This is what I'm seeing. When he step here, you need to help Cooper DeJean along the way to my man getting pick six in Super Bowls.
On his B-Day.
Yeah, on his B-Day.
Mahomes rolling out. Looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean, gets a block. DeJean is in, touchdown.
Showing up and showing out. Then they threw Avonte Maddox out there. He like, hey, bro, I'm gonna make me a play.
Let me get some too.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me some too. You feel me? So it's once again, I say weirdly constructed in the sense of other teams aren't like that. We're different. This truly is a family type culture. So the Eagles have no problem putting those young pups out there, because I know the man next to the left and right of them is going to make sure that this young guy or this old head, if we're bringing a guy in, thrives. Mm-hmm. If you're willing to listen and put yourself out there, unlike some people who we brought in, pay $50 million, and then we ship up out of here. I just thought I'd throw that out there. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought I'd put that on the record.
Yeah, put that on the record. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And see, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because Coop on his Exciting Mike's podcast with Reed Blankenship, shout out to them.
Definitely give that a listen if you haven't.
Yeah, he gave props to Avonte Maddox for teaching him the way and showing him tips and techniques and things like that. But what 2 Chainz say? All I want for my birthday is a pick six and a boat. Yeah. But to finish up on the vets real quick, because loyalty is a trait that a lot of people don't have. And sometimes you can be loyal to a fault. And I'm glad that, because we can look back a few years ago where we'll hold on to vets way too long, way past their due date, bro. You see what I'm saying? It's like, bro, at the end of the day, or their expiration date, it's like at the end of the day, you got to let some people walk. But how we used to hold on to those vets too long. We had more vets than young pups. Now it's the changing of the guard. Now it's, look, we're getting rid of vets. Unless you're a vet that's a core member or a core piece to our team, we're going to get rid of you and take our chances and roll our dice with these young pups, bro. And I like that Howie has incorporated that into his vision, incorporated that into his philosophy. And look at the wonders and how it's paying off for us, bro. Super Bowl champ, dog.
Nah, absolutely, man. And another young vet that I've kind of had my eye on, or it is crazy that he's young and a vet, is Keely Ringo. You know what I mean? That's crazy to say, but Keely Ringo is now our longest tenured Eagle at the cornerback position.
It's a crazy word.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 22. So, so this guy comes in, he's young, he's set. Yeah, I mean, earned his stripes, played a lot of special teams reps last year. I would like to see Keely Ringo get an opportunity at CB2. Even if we do, as I mentioned, bring in Asante Samuel Jr., I want to see him in that competition. We have Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson is meant to push Keely Ringo. I believe he will, but I'm not sold on Adoree Jackson. He's older. He's been around the block. Hasn't really made a bunch of noise. I would like to see the 22-year-old, 6'2", 205-pound guy get out there, mix it up. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and a tall, athletic, freakish corner on the backside. You know what I mean? You can't get better than that. I feel like Keely just needs game time reps. The more reps for him, I think, the better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you bring in Asante, it'd be great to push the room, but if we don't, Keely on the outside, I believe he's earned that. You know what I mean? Like I said, you sat for 2 years. You're going, I believe this will be his third year.
He's going into his third season.
Yeah, going into his third season. You're still young, so I mean, we'll have to pay him in a couple years, but he's so young, man. You'll have him potentially for the next 10 years if you choose B. You could have a cornerback duo, or trio for the next 4 or 5 years, 6 years, if you really wanted it. Not a lot of teams can really say that. Yeah, I mean, and that this trio is legit. You talk about Georgia boys. Keely Ringo's a Georgia boy. Keely Ringo, he got that pedigree. He has a national title. Hey, guess what? He got a Super Bowl ring. Okay, he's won on the biggest stages. So he has that experience. Don't let the age fool you. He's been there. I remember, I don't know if this might have been last offseason. They had asked AJ Brown, man, what's one of the young players, man, you think God is gonna be that guy? Right at AJ Brown's mouth, you know AJ Brown ain't hyping him nobody. He barely hype up his best friend, QB1, for real, right? My man's Keely Ringo. This guy's a future Pro Bowler. He has all the tools in his body, but just has to click. And hopefully, after being in the Fangio system for a year, although he didn't play a lot last year, spot play here and there, he's picked up enough from Darius Slay, big play Slay, enough from him. Yeah, I'm saying, to where
enough from Quinyon.
Don't
matter here, rookie or not.
Yeah, that's real talk. Hey, enough from Coop. All these guys, Coop, where he's elevated this game, and he can be that guy, not a weak link at CB2. Because I don't want to. No slight to Adoree Jackson. I don't want to see Adoree Jackson at CB2. I don't. I need to see that 7 over there. If not a deuce on Asante Samuel Jr. For real. I'm just being honest. So that's another battle I'm looking at, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting battle. We believe that Keely Ringo has all the physical tools, the gifts, the talent to man that CB2 role. It's just up to him to prove it. You see what I'm saying? Vic Fangio got a chance to see him in one season in the scheme and in the defense. So obviously, like we said, if Vic Fangio wants a certain person, it's nothing to talk to Howie Roseman to go and get somebody. And we talked about this off camera because had the opportunity to get Jair Alexander, who ultimately ended up signing with the Ravens, and then getting a Jalen Ramsey, who ultimately ended up getting traded to Pittsburgh. And we passed on both of them. And so that means Vic Fangio, the coaching staff, the front office have to trust in Keely Ringo. It is your time, bro. It's your time. You feel me? But I'm not going to go in detail about this real quick, Big Huss, but something that I thought was interesting going into training camp that not a lot of people are talking about is the running back load management and the depth. We all know that Saquon is the leading running back, bro. Like, it ain't no question, concern, nothing. 2-6 will be in the backfield. You see what I'm saying? But I wonder how we're going to manage his workload coming off of a high volume season last season, doing the things that he did, winning Offensive Player of the Year, should have really won MVP. How are we going to manage his workload? Next, Will Shipley, is he our primary backup? Is he the 2-minute back in the offense? That's a question that we have to figure out. A.J. Dillon, he's returning from his injury, his neck injury. How is he going to come back? Can he stay fresh and consistent? Can he stay healthy and contribute? Because we know that A.J. Dillon in with the Packers when he was healthy. What he did,
Hey, prime AJ Dillon was a dog.
You do rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
It's like it's like a shake and bake.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. He could go all the way. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Tick, 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 tick.
Nothing can stop me. No one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. That's a horse.
Sundays at 11.
Don't want to get it. Shout out to Chris Berman too. You ain't want to get in the AJ Dillon way because AJ Dillon run you over and give you a mean stiff arm for real. So for us to see him sign with us, we were ecstatic with that when we saw that news with AJ Dillon to spell Saquon with that bruising back and AJ Dillon's not a slow back neither. He's not the speedster.
4.5 coming out. He ran a 4.53 coming out at 250 pounds.
Come on now. So he has enough speed to pull away, but then he has enough thump to run you over. You see what I'm saying? So I want to see how he responds off of this injury, which was a serious injury, but he's all cleared now. And then finally, Ben Van Simmeren with him shifting to from linebacker to fullback. How will we incorporate him? What are our plans with him in the offense? We did get a little tease and a little preview last season. Unfortunately, he got injured. But how will we incorporate Ben Van Simmeren into the offense, especially with him at fullback?
I fully expect Ben Van Simmeren to be used in a use check type of role. I think that we will mimic a few of the things that the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan have done over there with the fullback position. And even we'll take some things from the Ravens, because the Ravens have done some interesting things with
Ricard. Patrick
Ricard, 300-pound fullback. It's crazy, right? Biggest fullback in the history of fullback. It's ridiculous. In the history of football, it's ridiculous, right? But they've done some interesting things with them over the years, especially during a time where fullbacks are really phased out. There's only a handful of teams who are using fullbacks right now. This is a very wide open, more so, I don't call it air raid, but air friendly attack that offenses are using nowadays. Nobody really wants to go with the ground and pound method, aside from us, the Ravens, a couple of the other teams. Chargers, especially now with Harbaugh there. You know, they're all about defense and running the ball. But yeah, interesting to see how they use him. I'm sure that role will be expanded greatly. Like I said, you had a little tease last year when he was on the field. Hey, he was up around 6 yards a clip, bro. They was popping them off straight up, getting off. All right. Now it's just his real first year in that role. I mean, he's athletic enough to where you can move him from a linebacker position and then put him at fullback, you know. And behind that O-line, I think that'll be great. They'll probably use him on special teams a little bit, but expand that run game, and not only the run game, but the passing game. Oh, that's gonna be crazy. Not even gonna lie to you. Then you talk about the running back position, like you said, say 2K. We already know what Saquon is. We know, right? So that's stamped. But just in the history, and knock on wood, Saquon, he gets nicked up from time to time. And granted, he was healthy all last year to the tune of the Super Bowl win. He's a Super Bowl champion. We got that hardware. You know what it is.
In one season.
Hey, breaking records left and right. You know what I'm saying? But your boy O'Hara, he up there. He crazy. But
Thank you, Giants.
I'm gonna have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, AJ Dillon spelling Saquon or Will Shipley, that's gonna be big, bro. Running back two, they take on a big role in this team, even though they may not get a lot of touches, as we mentioned before in prior videos. Kenny Gainwell, I can recall him many times where he had big plays and big time moments on limited touches. You know what I'm saying? RB2 isn't just, they don't just throw somebody out there. RB2 is a serious role. You have to be able to do everything RB1 can do. So AJ Dillon, will see if he takes over that role, like especially coming off a neck injury. Neck injury for a running back is a bit risque. But especially with his running style, he's a bruiser, so it's not like he's a shifty back where I'm darting, I'm getting out of bounds. Nah, man, my man, 1 foot in the ground, I'm getting downhill. What's up? We active. But then you have Will Shipley, brings you a little something different, more of a catching prowess. Look, give you different things, can both be highly effective. We just want to see, and I guarantee you both will be on the roster, but we want to see who RB2 really is. I want to see when Saquon comes off the game, off the field, who's running out there. Is it Big Boy? You know what I'm saying? Or is it Vanilla Ice? Hey, is he getting groovy? Ice, baby. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But good problem to have. Both will be highly effective this year, however we choose to use them. Choose to use them, excuse me, especially behind this O-line. I can run behind this O-line. I ain't read in dinner 5 years.
Howie, holla at us for real, bro. We able and available.
Hey, you said you need a bruiser, right? 230, big dog. What's up, man? I got you.
And speaking of that real quick, because I don't want to take up too much time, but this is something that we talked about off camera. Since the offseason has started, ever since we won the Super Bowl on February 9th of 2025, it's been a lot of complaining and whining from different organizations, from different fan bases about QB1 and him not be able to be as successful as he is without the supporting cast that he has here in Philadelphia. We all admit and know that we do have a loaded roster from top to bottom. We've discussed this and said this numerous of times. But it's so funny how people always be like, oh, y'all like the Monstars. Y'all got a dream team. Y'all got a super squad. But the same guy in Howard Roseman, that you all were clowning about, oh, he can't draft. He misses in the first round. Oh, he can't do this. That was Howie's only problem back then, missing in the first round. 2 through 7 and free agents and undrafted free agents, Howie hit. What y'all fail to realize is the fact that we have a great quarterback on our team with a great roster around him. But then also we can credit that to Howie Roseman because, again, when you look at our roster, when you look at the starters on offense and defense and even special teams, majority of our roster was drafted players from Howard Roseman. When you look on the offensive side of the ball, Big Huss, the only players that weren't drafted by Howie Roseman were Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and Jahan Dotson. That's the 3. Mind y'all, it's 11 people on offense. So 8 of the starters were drafted. When you flip to the defensive side of the ball, the only starter that we have that wasn't drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles is Zach Bond. Right? So everybody always wants to make it seem like we're buying all of these free agents. We're buying championships. No, we just know how to draft, and then we have Connor Barwin in player development, and we do well with player development and take them and get the maximum out of our players. That's why we sustain success. That's why we win championships, and that's why we have the culture that we do. But I just had to mention that real quick because a lot of these fan bases and organizations like super corny for real because they just been complaining ever since we won the Super Bowl. It's only an issue when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but then when the Chiefs were winning, can anybody stop the Chiefs? Can anybody stop Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, the greatest duo? And then when we boom bop PTA them, now it's everybody want a piece of the Eagles. But hey, it ain't nothing new to us, man.
And that's all it is. Hey, when you doing the right thing, they always gonna have something
always
to say, man. Hey, we sitting on the mountaintop looking down there, everybody got our ring holding our trophy. They can't take it. And at the end of the day, a lot of teams, they're upset because they try to mimic what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes beyond just bringing in the talent. Like you said, it's the culture. The players that we bring in, they fit the culture that we have. We don't have a problem having these players try to buy into what the Eagles have going on. Now, they come in like, oh, this is the culture? Yeah, we with it. If anything, we're going to try to turn this culture up. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to reinvent the wheel and change things around. I think that's one of the main reasons. And look, I'm a Jalen Ramsey fan. I like what he brings. I like the energy. I like the skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's a great corner. But I felt like bringing him into this locker room probably would have been a cancer. You know what I'm saying? Especially you already, you had a little silent, little tip, between him and Fangio. So you got Jalen Ramsey in the corner of the locker room. He talking his ass. You know what I'm saying? This divider. You don't need that. You need players who going to come in and be like and get with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what folks hating, bro. Draft this. I mean, we don't do none of that. As we spoke off when Matt Ryan was down in Atlanta and they had that loaded roster, wasn't nobody talking about none of that. There wasn't none of that. They went to the bowl and everything, got boom bop. We said BTA, boom bop BTA. Yeah, the whole second half, that's what was happening to them. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these other rosters, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't
Nobody.
be mad.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
When he had Dallas Clark.
Literally.
Who else?
Edgerrin James. Torrey Holt. Isaiah Bruce. Greatest show on turf. Never once did they fault. Or excuse me, that was
the Rams, but Marvin Harrison and
but Marvin said,
and Reggie Wayne.
And Reggie Wayne.
Even like you said, the greatest show on turf.
But I would say even the greatest show on turf, the coach. I mean, you have these high profile offenses. Nobody's faulting these quarterbacks for having talent around them. If anything, you should turn around and look at the GM and give him a pat on the back, like, hey, brother, you're doing a hell of a job here. They're mad because they can't mimic it. Everybody can't do it how he does. We see them try to do it on a year-to-year basis, day-to-day basis, week-to-week tip. And for whatever the reason, it's just not hitting. It's just not hitting. And that bothers them.
It's crazy, bro. I don't get it.
You know? Yeah, that's
so much hate, bro.
Hey, but we use that hate as motivation over here, baby. All you doing is adding fuel to the fire. That's what y'all don't realize. Keep talking down on QB1. Like he looked up at that screen. It was all the music. Oh, yeah? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. When out there, you seen what that Super Bowl looked like.
What a play, what?
Hey, and ugly quick.
For
So
real,
keep adding fuel to that fire. You're not smart. You're not being smart. The smart thing would be just stop talking.
Just stop.
For real, bro. You know, it's crazy work. But nah, we ain't gonna keep up too much of y'all time. Hey, we talked about potential additions, a little bit of camp talk, some position battles, some of the chatter out there about the Eagles, QB1. You know, we just got into that a little bit. But hope everybody's having a great week. I know Mr. Owens wants to holler at you before we get up out of here.
For sure, bro. For sure, man. Hey, look, to our season supporters, thank you for the continued support that you all are showing us. It never goes unnoticed. Again, to our new supporters, welcome to the family, and I hope that you are enjoying this content. I hope that this content brings you peace and comfort as much as it brings us peace and comfort to do these videos for you all. But again, make sure to continue to like the videos, continue to flood those comment sections. Don't forget to share and subscribe to the content and the community. And last but not least, don't forget to turn on the notification bells, also known as the Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates.
Hey, as we say, you heard Mr. Owens. Go do that. Hey, it's fire content always here. It's Fly Eagles Fly, man. Also, hey, y'all know the vibes. Also, make sure that you follow the IG channel. That'll be in the comment sections of profile. Go do that. We drop fire on there, 2 knowledge posts daily. Do that. Hope everybody's having a great week. And if you don't know, I go by Big Husk.
And I go by Mr. Owens.
Look, and this is the Main Thing podcast, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, man, y'all have a great week. Stay locked in. Training camp soon. More fire content. We love y'all. It's Fly Eagles Fly till we die. Till next time.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chaser.